Hi and welcome to today's video, which is about managing intense frustration. This is part of the Managing Difficult Feelings series, and so I think the best way to work with this emotion is for me to give some examples so that you can see whether or not this is a feeling that you identify with or not. Then you'll know whether or not you need the tips that I'm suggesting in today's film. So this is a particular example, but as I talk it through, if you resonate with the intensity that I'm experiencing, you'll know whether you connect with this or not. So, okay, imagine being in an argument where the thing that you are defending is 100% your truth and it's so important to you. But then imagine that the other person that you're having that argument with thinks almost the exact opposite, doesn't understand where you're coming from, doesn't regard your feelings. Really, you're really at loggerheads with each other's viewpoint. You can reach the point where you are so voiceless, but yet the passion inside of you is at 100% intensity because you completely and utterly think what you think. And no matter what words you're using, you're not able to say or convey what it is that you want to get across. So you end up in this kind of trapped space. 100% intensity, zero voice getting that over, and you get so frustrated, like unbelievably frustrated. That's the emotion we're going to work on in this video. Okay, so first of all, I think it is very important when you're that intense to divert. Your brain needs a diversion because that level of intensity is too overwhelming for a person to sustain. That level of intensity can also lead to self-harming behaviour because when we are overwhelmed mentally, we can't vent verbally, we can often vent physically to give ourselves that same sensation of release. That's obviously really dangerous and never advised. So a really appropriate alternative is to create a physical sensation that is safe. I often think that temperature, cold, not hot, is a great way to do this. So grabbing hold of like a bag of peas and ice cubes, sticking your hand under a freezing cold tap is a really safe and appropriate way to divert from having an intense feeling that you are trapped in to then jolting yourself out of that place. So that's the first tip, physical diversion that's safe. Second tip is to clarify exactly what you're thinking, so that if it's the particular message and you cannot convey it, do you need to reframe it? Do you need to give an example that better explains it? Do you need to sit down with somebody and kind of change tack on the way that you're having your conversation? What can you do to manage this situation in a better way? And then thirdly, have some time out. So sometimes when you've got two people that are being that intense, if you leave it a minute or two to go and put your hand under a cold tap and kind of calm down, gather your thoughts, and then go straight back to that conversation, that intensity is still there. It's just temporarily stopped. So do you need to have an agreement with that other person where you say, look, we're both coming at this from completely different places. Let's agree that both people, as people, are still really important in this situation, and that right now we're unable to communicate effectively. So the best thing to do is give it an hour, a day, a week, we will calm down, like maybe don't say calm down because that could be patronising, but we'll both get ourselves to a place where we can approach this from a calmer perspective, and we will reapproach it together at an agreed time. By taking that time out, however long that mutually ends up being mutually agreed, you've then got time to process and revisit and think it through in different ways, so that when you come back together again, you can try from a totally different angle, which might hopefully stop it from having that volcano eruption, and then you can hopefully speak in a way that enables you to come to some kind of conclusion. You might have to agree that you're never gonna agree, but there might be a better way to resolve it and conclude it than if you try to do it there and then, when those feelings of frustration are at an all-time high. So I'm going to recap. I'm going to try and do it calmly because I've been talking about such an intense feeling that I'm like, what? So have a physical sensation that helps you to diffuse an intense mental frustration. Clarify exactly where this is going wrong. Give yourself time out to process it so that you can come back and reapproach it from a much calmer place. I hope you found this helpful, and there is plenty more information about managing difficult feelings at both whitebarntherapy.co.uk and over on YouTube, where you can find all of my other videos. Just type White Barn Therapy into the search bar. Thanks and have a great day.